With just under a month to go, the transfer window is firmly open. With just under a month to go, Arsenal will play Manchester United at Old Trafford. And have they done enough so far in the transfer window to turn around and say, yeah, we can compete with Liverpool. We can compete with Manchester United. We can finally end the 21 years of a Premier League drought and lift it for the first time in a long time. I'm Time Night here for TK24 Sports. If you're new to the show, like, subscribe, turn notification on so you don't miss a show every time we upload. Watch until the end, get the full amount out of the show, and hopefully this show will be many more for you to keep on watching. Okay, so Arsenal, the big question is, have they finally got the striker over the line? And before we talk about Victor Gyökeres, I just need to let you know this. I have been watching Arsenal for decades. I have seen so many strikers come and go, come and go. And it's always been every single season, have we got the right striker? Do we have enough firepower? Do we have the right person leading the line to make Arsenal victorious? And as you've seen, the amount of players that I have seen and I have watched over the years following Arsenal, it's always the same thing. I think we need more. And that is no different to this day now in 2025 with the new wave supporters coming out and saying, this window is not enough. We need more. We need more. We need more. And that is just a sorry state of Arsenal fans. That is just the mentality that we have. We always need more. We always want more because the other clubs out there just seem to be buying more than us. And I am not scared for this season. I firmly believe with Victor Gyökeres coming in to be the striker now for Arsenal, we've actually done good business. Yeah, he's come for the Portuguese league, but that doesn't phase me at all whatsoever. The only thing that's going to phase me now is, have we done enough in the other areas to make us really kick on? And I mean really kick on. We've got the Zubimendi that's coming now. We've got Mascaras that's who's going to come in. We've also got Norgard that's coming, Madueke that's coming in. But Arsenal, I still think there's two more places up for grabs in this Arsenal team that could really propel us on to do much more. When we look at the first 11, that's what I'm projecting that what it could be versus Manchester United, and then what the secondary 11 could be. I've also got my dream 11 as well, and what the backup of that 11 could be. And when I say the backup, that's not even a good word to use because when we say the word backup, it just means that these guys are just not good enough for the first 11. But when I think of the still alternative 11 that we could put out, it's night and day to what we were used to last season and the season before with a new formation of the 4-2-3-1, which I think Mikel Arteta is going to deploy, is going to help Arsenal to no end whatsoever. But the question is it still going to be enough? If we get the Eze over the line, the Rodrigo, it sounds like a fantasy thing. Well, as I say that, if we get these players over the line, but let's look at Rodrigo right here. All right, this is a player that we can turn around and say that's better than Martinelli. Really, truly think about this. What I'm going to show you now. When we look at Martinelli's stats, is it really that bad? When we look at Rodrigo's stats, is it that much better than and Martinelli? When we look at an Eze stats, who I can't wait for him to don the Arsenal shirt, should Arsenal really truly take that plunge, which I think they will, but is it better than Martin Odegaard? And the answer to all those questions is yes and no. It really is yes and no. And the reason why I say that is because, again, from the time of me watching football, when I saw a Messi and a Ronaldo, they destroyed my time here now as a 44-year-old. They destroyed it because when I think of those sort of players, you just don't make them anymore. And someone that's quite close with in the Premier League who doesn't play for Arsenal is a Mo Salah who just scores goals and makes assists. But the question is, Arnie Store is more than likely looking at Arsenal going, okay, and then I'm going to go and try and buy an Alexander Isaac, who is a player that Arsenal fans wholeheartedly want. But Liverpool are not going to get him. Newcastle are not going to sell him to Liverpool. So they're going to go and get I can't even get the word out. You know what I'm talking about, right? But my point is this, back to Arsenal. When it comes to our transfer window, I think it's actually a decent transfer window. I'm not going to rate it do a 1 to 10 because what we haven't even seen him play yet. Kick a ball together to know if it's going to be successful. The only way you can judge this transfer window if it's been any good is at the end of the season. Why do we judge at the end of the season? Because that's going to determine where we actually finish. Do we get any silverware from this group of players that we brought in? And that's only the fair way to do it. When you see people online going, oh, I'll give it a 6 out of 10, a 4 out of 10, a 3. Oh, this is going to be a needle mover. This is going to do that. You don't know. You only judge them based on what you saw. And I get that. And we all do that. I can't turn around and say I'm not perfect. Well, I am perfect, should I say. And I don't do that. That's not true. I do look at some players and think, oh, I don't know. I'm not too sure. The one that's going to got me on the fence is the Madueke one. And the reason why I say that, why we judge him on what he done at Chelsea, I still saw a player when he played us last season, he was a threat against us. Now, Madueke is going to be a threat. Is he going to be more than a threat than Martinelli? Yes, in some games. Is Martinelli going to be more of a threat than Madueke in games? Yes. And maybe this is the sort of player that we needed to come in to push Martinelli on, to say to him, listen, at your last hurrah, if this guy pushes you on and it explodes you to be even better than Madueke, you're going to stay. But Madueke comes in and outshines Martinelli, then you got to turn around and say that's a genius move from Mikel Arteta. It's the same way I will say with Eze. Eze coming in is going to push Martin Odegaard to no ends. Even when Neri, yes, he signed a contract and I'm happy with that, but he's not going to push Martin Odegaard. Eze is the one to push Martin Odegaard to no end. It will make Martin Odegaard think more that I have to do more. I can't just rest on my laurels. I've got the armband and start thinking, yeah, I've got this now. This is my gig for life. Last season, I didn't play so well and I still couldn't get dropped. This season, when you got Eze there, you now know you got competition. And this is not about Mikel Arteta trying to do this. This is about Andrea Berta coming in and saying more is needed, more pressure is needed around the club, around the players to get the best out of them. And this is what I'm liking with Victor Jokeres. He's totally different. He's made Kai Havertz go back into the gym, back into the lab, and start pumping some weights, some iron to get bigger, to get physical, so his body doesn't shut down on him again, like a Gabriel Jesus. Kai Havertz now knows himself. He has bona fide competition. Competition that's going to make him excel bigger than he did before. Because he now knows Arsenal are not playing around with this director of sport. It's just not going to happen anymore. So, what do I see with a Victor Gyökeres coming in? How do I see Arsenal lining up? Pretty much just here, what you're seeing. I think Martinelli's going to be the starting left midfielder. I really, truly do. Even with Madueke there, I think Mikel Arteta will start with the Zubimendi and the Gyökeres up front. And then talking about Mikel Arteta and the Gyökeres up front, this is not Mikel Arteta's first choice. We all know this. He wanted Sesko. And if Edu was here, I'm not about to slander Edu, but if Edu was here, he would have went all in and got Sesko over the line, even though he's nowhere near the caliber of a Victor Gyökeres when it comes to strike rate. Sesko offers more than Victor Gyökeres in some departments, and then Victor Gyökeres offers so much more than Sesko does in some other departments. But really, we know that Sesko was the one that Arteta wanted. So Arteta, with his head in his hand, is thinking, my God, what do I do now? I now need to reinvent my 4-3-3, and it is going to be the 4-2-3-1. The back line is secure. The midfield is secure. Is Thomas Partey better than Martin Zubimendi? We don't know in an Arsenal shirt. Because as much as we love Thomas Partey, we saw, now if you have to be honest with yourself, we saw some slip-ups and some hiccups from Thomas Partey. But how does Martin Zubimendi going to fit in with the pace, the way Arsenal play? It could be just what he wants, just what he needs. But Mikel Arteta has to change it. And I still believe this is his last hurrah this coming season. Win or not, I still think Arsenal will look to Mikel Arteta and say, okay, now we've built this, we now need to push on. But we may need to push on without you. But this video is not about Mikel Arteta and getting him sacked. And I don't like him. That's further from the truth. I just believe as long as he's been here, it's been good. He's brought us back to new levels. He's brought us back to conversations. Because if you are an Arsenal fan that's been following us, so let's say for the last, let's say 8 years, I'll give you 8 years. You would have been there when Arsenal were really and truly down on their luck. When it came to every summer signing, we'll say we need some more players, but we can't compete with a City. We can't compete with a Liverpool. We can't compete with a Manchester United. We just don't have the resources. So what's changed between the 8 years and now? Nothing much. The owners are wealthy, don't get me wrong. They're like valued with their sports entity as the best in the world. But when it comes to putting money in, the days of doing that are gone. When Abramovich was here with Chelsea, yeah, he was able to do that. City just found another way to do it. Chelsea now find a new way of doing it by selling assets from their own club to themselves. And that's a way of getting around little loopholes so you can keep on spending, spending, spending. Arsenal have never done that. So why fans think now's the time where we have to go big and keep on spending loads? This is not in their culture. It's just not in their nature. It's not in their DNA. It never has. Unless we get sold to someone really wealthy who doesn't mind bending the rules a little bit, that's the only way Arsenal are going to really go out there and spend their cash. But I still believe Eze's going to come in. The Rodrigo one, where you're seeing what my dream lineup was that would be nice to get Rodrigo in. But I still have reservations over Rodrigo. Do I think he's better than Martinelli when I look at the numbers? Not really. It's not that thing or people call a needle mover because it's not a needle mover on paper. It really and truly isn't. Martinelli, believe it or not, that's going to be a hard shoe to fill. That's going to be hard to fill his shoes. He's actually really good. But the annoying thing is, it's just what we get frustrated. Sometimes it's just his end product. How quick he is. He doesn't take on the last person. He hasn't got no skills in the sense of tricks to beat someone. He doesn't have that. Madueke has that in him, but then it's his final distribution. But at the same time, we have to look at who Madueke was providing the services for. Nicholas Jackson. Okay? That's who he was providing services for. Now, if we had Nicholas Jackson and we had Madueke providing services to him, we'll be saying we need a new striker because Jackson's not cutting it because Madueke is doing as much as he can. Now we have Madueke in with a Victor Yopres who can finish his dinner 4 out of the 5 times given. This is going to be a new Arsenal. It really and truly is. But my other thing I'm going to say is this: Bukayo Saka has to hit at least 18 Premier League goals this year. He has to. And why are you saying time? Why are you saying he has to? When I think of Saka and I look at Saka, he has the ability to score loads of goals. But when you look at Mo Salah in Liverpool, when he hit 29 Premier League goals, 18 Premier League assists, you've got to look at it and say, that's the sole reason why Liverpool won the league last year. Bukayo Saka is not the reason we didn't win the league, but it would have been good. Yes, he did get injured, but if he even hit the double figures, and I'm talking double, I'm saying 20 Premier League goals, that brings Arsenal closer to Liverpool. But now we brought in a Gyökeres. Maybe that's where we're looking. Maybe we're looking to Gyökeres to finish the dinner and get 25 Premier League goals. But is 25 Premier League goals enough when Mo Salah can score 29? If Mo Salah can score 29 Premier League goals, then why am I saying 25 Premier League goals for Gyökeres? We've got to be maybe saying it's got to be 30 at least. And if you hit those numbers, Gyökeres, Arsenal will then be assured to win the league, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But so far, the window's been good. We still got a month to go for the first kickoff. And don't forget, the window closes on the end of August. That's how I call it. You can say a couple of days into September, but the end of August when really truly is going to close. So Arsenal still have time to bring in one or two. They still got players that needs to lead the club at the same time. Need to generate some cash. You've got a Reece Nelson that's pretty much going to go back to Fulham on loan. Arsenal need to be firm and say, no, it needs to be a permanent transfer. We've got to stop doing this merry-go-round with Reece Nelson. Either we say you get him for 5 million or you 10 million or 15, but you've got to buy him. It's not on loan. On loan benefits Fulham, it doesn't benefit Arsenal. It's just a player out the door for one season. And talking about players out the door for one season, then you have to look at a Jesus. What's going to happen with him when he comes back for this season? Is that why Arsenal going to hold off on a Rodrigo because they've got a Jesus that's going to come back some point this season? How does he come back? Is he going to be great? Is he going to be super fit? We don't know. Is he going to break down again? We don't know. But what I do know is this: Arsenal will more than likely finish off the season with an Eze rather than a Rodrigo. But if Rodrigo's up there, we get Eze in, and Rodrigo's there, and he turns out to Real Madrid and says, "Yo, I want to cut out." Arsenal need to be there and poised and beat Liverpool to that player. And if Rodrigo's preference is still to come to Arsenal, Arsenal has to do whatever they have to do to get this one over the line. They really and truly does. But that's just my thoughts today. That's what I wanted to bring you. Just my ideas. Just my thoughts. Your Chris is on his way in. Madueke is on his way in. We got Chris where he's on his way in as well. Arsenal are 60% done. There's 40% left to do. Players going out, players still to come back in. What's your thoughts so far? Have you enjoyed the show? Give it a like, give it a subscribe. I'm Ty Knight here for TK 24 Sports.